It's about time I talked about the elements: earth, wind, and fire. A lot more than just the band that played the song September. Their music and sound was one part mysticism, one part intricate ensemble playing, and one part groove. It makes us feel, it makes us move, and believe it or not, this group didn't have a #1 hit until their 6th album, 1975's That's the Way of the World. And Shining Star's bass line was played by the great Verdine White. It's like he puts on a clinic on how to play the perfect groove. It's deceptively simple. Now, the song presents itself to us as a straight-up funk song. 102 beats per minute, that E7 sharp 9 chord, that's all Funk 101. But here's something you may not know. Shining Star was developed in the studio, and it's an instance where Verdine overdubbed multiple bass parts on the same song. When asked about this song in a 2012 interview, he said, "Maurice came up with the beat. He worked out Shining Star in the studio. Later on, I came up with the thirds. Like I did on the song Fantasy, I doubled my bass. A lot of times, I like 2 or 3 different bass tracks. I have one basic track and another where I lay down, you know." Based on what he says here, it's easy to see how this part might have actually been played like this. Now, you can absolutely play both of these parts live, but I think it's really interesting to see how this overdubbing technique would go on to become such a big part of his sound. And those thirds he mentions, they're actually tenths. Tenths are one of the most usable shapes on the bass. It's a third, but you're adding another octave above that. That makes both of those two notes far enough apart that it won't sound muddy on the bass. If you know your major and minor tenth shapes, you can hint at most any chord in any key. In the case of Shining Star, the tenths actually become a hook, taking us through the cycle of chords in the chorus. And it's so important to the song that the whole band fades out at the end except for the bass and the vocals. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be. This was the first Verdine White bass line I ever learned, but it's only one of his incredible, funky, and iconic bass lines. When I try to cop a Verdine White bass line, I try to follow 3 important elements that to me define his style. Number 1, dig in. Verdine is not a light touch player. He uses a really robust right hand attack on the bass to get those notes to pop. Number 2, nail the rhythm. He's so precise with his rhythm and blends so well with the rhythm guitar at times that it sounds like one instrument. Focus on nailing those rhythms and play right down the middle. Number Number 3, articulate. Verdine's parts are incredibly clear, full of accents, and clean. Many of his bass lines focus on short notes, so pay attention and bring those notes out. What can I say? 50 years later, and we're still grooving to this music. And that's a testament to Earth, Wind, and Fire and the great Verdine White. Serve the song, groove your butt off, and you better have fun while you're doing it. Perfect.